this great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive and will prosper. So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
If you're one of the millions heading home for the holidays by airplane, you may be dreading the long lines and intrusive searches that a trip through an airport checkpoint can mean these days.
Our nation is equipped with new tools to monitor the terrorist movements, freeze their finances, and break up their plots. And with strong allies at our side, we have taken the fight to the terrorists and those who support them.
The TSA began compiling a list back in 2007 of people that annoy them. Mm-hmm. So people who go through security lines at airports and give security officials any type of grief will have their name on a list. And it's a watch list that TSA officials keep an eye on.
I told you. I mean, look, they start with, oh, no, we're only going to do it to terrorists. And they got their terrorist watch list, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it goes to, well, people who have broken the law in other ways, but that are not quite terrorists.
Yes.
Then it goes to people who have annoyed us.
This past Sunday night here at LAX about 7:30, probably crowded because a lot of people were coming home from the New Year's holiday, when suddenly a man starts acting strangely. He starts saying, I'm God, I'm in charge. LAX police and arrest that man, and he turns out to be a TSA agent.
The Transportation Security Administration has a new look and new security policies.
The changes rolled out on September 11th of this year. The new rules let the TSA employees avoid the same security screening procedures they're paid to monitor.
They're supposed to keep us safe when we fly. Instead, they might be leaving us even more vulnerable to terrorists. How is that possible? A Homeland Security report is slamming the Transportation Security Administration for not keeping track of security passes, uniforms of former workers. Those passes are the ones that grant access to these highly sensitive areas where baggage is screened, where the planes are...
At the airport in Chattanooga, Tennessee, my 3-year-old daughter, Mandy, went from this happy little girl to this during an ordeal through security. My cell phone has about 17 seconds of this. Here, a TSA employee we've decided not to show is patting down Mandy while my wife holds her. First, they tried a handheld metal detector. Mandy was not in the mood. And the TSA employee, well, in my opinion, did not know how to communicate to her. All of this started after Mandy's teddy bear was taken away for screening through the X-ray.
When we asked Kip Hawley, the outgoing head of TSA, if all this is really necessary, he wanted us to know that the terrorist threat has not gone away.
This is war. These people are trying to kill us. They got on the planes on September 11th, 2001, killed 3,000 people. And they will do it again as many times as they can.
There's been a lot of criticism about people who clearly are not terrorists. The 90-year-old little old lady.
Right.
My mother,
yeah.
In fact.
My mother.
was patted down
yeah.
and pulled aside. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense. It's not common sense.
You can't say to Al-Qaeda, if you give us somebody who looks like they're 90 years old or 9 months old, they're going to get a free pass, because I guarantee you they are watching, they notice it, and that's where they'll come.
Couldn't catch a guy with a bomb in his shorts aboard a plane bound for Detroit on Christmas Day, but they're absolutely hell on a disabled child with leg braces. The Transportation Security Administration refused to allow a 4-year-old disabled boy to pass through airport security without first taking off his leg braces. A Philadelphia Inquirer columnist reports how screeners at the Philadelphia airport made this insane request of a child taking his first flight to Disney World last March. The 4-year-old was born prematurely. He has malformed ankles and low muscle tone in his legs, and he was just beginning to walk at the time this happened. His parents told airport screeners their son couldn't walk without the braces, which are made of metal and plastic. But that didn't matter to the screener, who insisted that the child had to walk through the checkpoint on his own. When the father, who was a New Jersey police officer, asked to see a supervisor and told him that his 4-year-old son clearly was not a terrorist, he says the supervisor told him, quote, "You know why we're doing this," unquote.
An informed patriotism is what we want. And are we doing a good enough job teaching our children what America is and what she represents in the long history of the world? Those of us who are over 35 or so years of age grew up in a different America. We were taught very directly what it means to be an American.
Now, passengers can get in trouble at U.S. airports for simply studying a foreign language. What we have going on is the American Civil Liberties Union has filed a lawsuit today against the Transportation Security Authority and the FBI on behalf of a Californian physics student who was detained, handcuffed, and interrogated at a Philadelphia airport for up to 5 hours. This student, Nick George, was basically detained because he was studying Arabic at university.
Passengers can be so surly, screeners feel abused and frazzled.
Stress?
Feel anxious.
You feel anxious.
This isn't group therapy. It's actually screener school.
I mean, what is the impact on security?
TSA is sending every one of its 50,000 screeners back for retraining in how to treat the flying public. But from what we heard about how the public treats them,
just disrespecting your ability to do your job.
It's no wonder these guys need anger management.
You hear, well, I have a flight to catch. Hurry up, do this, do that. You know, it's just, you're taking your time to be nice and courteous to them because that's your job, and they don't appreciate it.
Sometimes it can be so paralyzing you can't do anything. Just want to bury your head somewhere.
The perception is we yell back, we scream, we get into combative mode, we're ready to fight.
I felt myself flying across the room. I thought I was going to die. I was flying from DC back home to New York. I got to the TSA screening and they x-rayed my bag and they said, oh, she's got a bottle. And I said, oh, that's just my contact lens solution. Feel free to throw it out. And then they took me to the secondary screening area. The officer came from behind, picked me up and threw me across the room into another passenger and into a metal chair. And then he took my arm and he started twisting it around till I felt it breaking. And I go, oh my God, you're breaking my arm. Then he picked me up, threw me against a metal table. There were 3 officers beating me up. There were 2 holding me down while he smashed my head into the table. I didn't know who was beating me up or why. I just kept saying, get off of me, get off of me, get off of me.
Here in Chicago, we watched as passengers like this man are subjected to exhaustive security checks. He's patted down, his wheelchair is examined, and his hands are swabbed, all in public view in a see-through room at the security checkpoint. And he's not alone.
It's humiliation.
71-year-old Robert Perry was also taken to a room like this by a TSA agent when his artificial knee set off the metal detector.
He yelled at me, no, get the belt off. I told you to get the belt off. So I took the belt off. He ran his hands down over and pulled the pants down. They went down around my ankles.
At that point, Perry was standing in his underwear in public view. He asked to see a supervisor. That made things worse.
She was yelling, I have power, I have power, I have power.
The power to stop him from flying to Florida with his wife that day to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary.
Make you feel like you have no rights.
If there are 1,000 ways to blow up an aircraft and you get rid of one, you're a little bit safer. If you spent, I'm making this up, $10 million to do that, are you $10 million safer? Probably not.
How about $160 million safer? That's what TSA is spending each year on more than 2,000 behavior detection officers. They prefer to remain anonymous as they roam checkpoints examining microfacial expressions, looking for signs of nervousness or anxiety. TSA claims it can help spot a terrorist.
I have come crashing into airports, all agitated because I'm late or whatever. Wouldn't they pick me out too?
No, because you're normal. Everybody that comes to an airport is behind and is tense and is anxious and am I going to miss my flight?
And they can tell the difference between anxious because I'm going to miss my flight and anxious because I'm carrying a bomb.
Yes. Yes, you can.
That's not a lot of truth in that, but they'd love it if you reported it because, you know, in all seriousness, we are safer if the bad guys believe we got this piece of magic.
John Micah is a Central Florida lawmaker who helped write the bill that created the Transportation Security Administration, but now says it may be time to get rid of TSA. Micah sent out this letter to more than 150 airports, reminding them that they have the option to not use TSA and hire private security.
Right now, I'm having the attorneys check out what people's rights are. We want constitutional rights of individuals upheld and not abused.
A TSA spokesperson responded to the letter in this statement. If airports want to opt out, TSA will consider all applications presented to our agency to be part of the screening partnership program.
The Constitution really does protect your privacy and quite explicitly protects your body. Many of you will recall that the Fourth Amendment protects Americans against unreasonable searches and seizures. That may call to mind images of cops coming into your house and rifling through your papers and possessions. But the language of the Fourth Amendment is very clear. Quote, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated." Stated differently, your body belongs to you as much as, if not more so, than your house or other possessions. Absent a warrant or clear reason to suspect a crime is in progress by specific individuals, the government has no more right to impose its regime of groping across the land than it does to decree daily medical exams for all Americans, or, like in North Korea, mandatory daily exercise. Your body belongs to you, not to the government, and do not let the TSA tell you otherwise.
Always give your best. Never get discouraged. Never be petty. Always remember, others may hate you, but those who hate you don't win unless you hate them. And then you destroy yourself.